Every episode, we take a few minutes away from the music to shine the artist spotlight on extraordinary artists in the region. And this girl, T.
Listen, she is a DJ. She is a producer. She runs, she's on a radio station. She's a visionary for a movement. She is such an inspiration, and she is right here, right now, y'all.
That's right, we got her. So without further ado, we're going to shine this heavy-ass artist spotlight on. It's hot, too.
It's hot.
DJ WhySham.
Yep. 617 to your backyard.
Wow. Now, we got you all up in rotation. I know you already know.
Oh, yeah.
But,
I love that. Respect, y'all. Thank you. Seriously.
Respect, man. They got to put some respect on your name. The things that you have accomplished.
Yes.
You are such a role model. You're so inspirational.
Run it down.
Okay. Here's what I know about you. For one,
Oh, shoot.
you DJ for the amazing Brandy Blaze.
Yes, dang, yes.
She is a beast MC. And you're the creator of Boston Got Next, visionary of the social justice trap movement. You're a radio personality on Spark FM. You were 2021's Boston Music Award nominee for Best DJ and Producer of the Year.
I lost though, bitch. Yep. He go
No, you
if
winning.
you got recognized, you winning, okay? You winning. Out of all the artists, like, to be even nominated, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big move. That's a big move.
Thank
right there.
you.
Yeah, and from a DJ standpoint, we play We Run the City, No Justice, No Peace. I don't know how to say it in Spanish.
Right, no. The CC no hip hop. Look, I had to learn it myself before I dropped the time.
I know I messed it up.
Practicing like a mother.
I know I messed it up when I first put it on the podcast.
He did. I tried.
Yeah. And then on my block with Marcella Cruz.
Oh, my God. That's
And we just added Trevor Holmes and Asia Vu with Move On. I mean, you're doing your thing, but you got to take us back. Where did it all start?
Oh, wow. Let's see.
Where were you born and the whole thing?
Yeah, so I'm from Dorchester, like the one and only Dorchester, 617. Again, like that's my tag, 617 to your backyard. I have Boston, the logo. It ain't my trademark, but I got the Boston, brand tatted on me because I really believe in the city. So, I went to school in Mattapan, Cotton Square. I lived in almost every single area or worked in every single area of Boston. So the city means a lot to me. So I ride and carry the city on my back with pride.
Yes.
They could piss me off some days, and I say the city because it's as a whole. I single people out.
okay. We can be massholes.
No, for real, right? So massholes for real. And I'm a masshole myself, so I get it. But no, I grew up in the area, and I went to school in Pennsylvania. I know you said since birth, but I'll do like a little jump around. I went to school in Pennsylvania for college, and I always said I wanted to come back to Boston and just leave like an imprint here because we got like a lot of people still to this day in 2022 don't even know there's black people or people of color in Boston or even like there's artists. So it shocks me when I travel, and I'm like, well, everybody I know black. What y'all talking about? Like, what? And not even like that. Like,
what school did you go to?
It's called Cedar Crest College. A lot of people are more familiar with Lehigh, but in Boston, I went to middle school. I went to the Lunenburg, which is now closed.
Hey, alumni, what's up?
Look, turn up. Look it, I was hood rat. Look it, don't even break it up. Look at me.
Let's talk about the secrets.
And then for high school, I went to Condiment Academy Charter School, and then I just been everywhere. So I'm a BPS charter kid for real at heart. I take pride in that too.
Okay.
It's like, people be having battles. I'm like, the school system's gonna be the school system. It's up to your teachers and the environment that they set it. So that's how I leave that.
Explain your first experience when you said, I'm going to be a DJ.
That was in college. We kept booking. So I'll give y'all some insight. Some people know, some don't know because people do research. So I was the SGA president at my college. I know, like, I was ratchet, but still doing my thing. So I was looking at the budget, and I know it's so deep in detail. Like, I was looking at the budget of how much we were paying DJs, like these, like production. I said, "Whoa, time out! Like, there ain't no way that these folks are getting paid this much,
DJs
and we still not satisfied." For real.
Now you know.
You're not even satisfied. Like, that's crazy. Hold up, time out. We begging the guy, like, sir, just play one song that we're like, hold up, come on now. So I had.
Can we get a throwback?
So I was just getting so frustrated that I literally just one day took over and asked my professor, Let me backtrack a little bit. I was doing radio stuff, but it was just learning how to like, you know, do a playlist on the radio, do commercials on the radio. And that was because I was in a communications course.
So you do production.
Right.
Okay.
But I never wanted to be a DJ. I was just like, I just wanted to make sure the music was on point. Like that was like my whole thing. Like I just needed the music to be on point. And I always just like, I felt like this thing, like I had an ear, like where I wanted to flow at. Like I never wanted the music to go from like extreme to like low. Like that needed to be a perfect flow.
Right.
Yeah.
Now we flip over to us now not hiring the DJs no more because I was seeing the budget. I downloaded this thing that I feel like everybody knows in the music world, virtual DJ, and started like, I never had a controller. I didn't even know how to use the controller. I was DJing with directly off the laptop.
With the computer,
With the computer, because then I was just like, I didn't have anything else. And I was like, I still didn't want to be a DJ in college, honestly. I just wanted to play music that we always gonna dance to. That was it. So then that stayed there in college. I came back to Boston. That was in Pennsylvania. This is 2013 now. So I'll say from like 2012 to 2013, I was like in college doing a little radio thing with my friends, and then moved back to Boston. And the Haley House Cafe, they had started a poetry slam team, and they needed a DJ. So I'm roommates now. Again, I'm gonna jump through it quick. I'm roommates now with the person who created the slam team. Okay. But again, I know how to DJ. I didn't have anything. Like I was just like, I didn't know how to play music. I always respected DJs. So like even in college, it was like, this is like an internal thing. Like, like don't be going around saying we got DJ Sham or something like that. Like no, this is all internal. Absolutely not. When I came back to Boston, when they asked, they knew I played music / like, you know, was on the radio in school. I was like, I don't mind learning because now I'm back in my hometown and I say this everywhere, I will not be getting embarrassed. And they were like, who did this? People gonna be checking for me. How about that? When you start saying you a DJ or whatever and you want somebody, people will be checking for you. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
And now I'm in two different worlds. Well, I'll say like, honestly, it was three different worlds. I got people who I grew up with before I left Boston who knew me as like this major and who's going to be like this writer. And then I'm in college. I'm in between worlds of people know me for music, but people know me as like wanting to be a social worker / writer, all this stuff. Now I moved back to Boston. They're like, now you're a DJ? Like, wait, time out. Wait, what's going on? And I'm just trying to have fun with it, right?
Yeah. Can you do my graduation party?
Look at, and I'm like, how much? Wait, time out. You got the time out. Okay, there's money involved. Like for real.
300 for my baby shower.
No, and it started growing from there. I can count nowadays, like say on one hand, I can count maybe less than 50 times in the course of 80 years I have DJed at a club. So I had made it official that I was not going to be like some club DJ because I grew up in the club era. Like I love the club. Like I love the party now. I don't got the time. I'd be tired after one drink. I'm like, I gotta go home. But when it came to that, I'm like, I respect the DJs and what they did, but I was like, I can't be like one of 10 up on stage waiting for my turn. So I just stuck with the crowd that I knew. I worked in certain nonprofits, so I just learned like marketing. Like, what do? You start with your home base. I hit up every single person I knew around me, family and friends, and said, I got the equipment. I DJ now. This is not a joke. This is what I'm doing. Like, not like, you know, for official as a like, but like I'm trying to get some bread. So if you need somebody hire me. Right. Like, I'll give you a discount. Now ain't nobody getting no discount, but like I'll give you a discount at the beginning. Like, you know, just to test me out and, you know, see how it is. So that's like a really, really where it started from.
Wow.
BSing, I know I guess BSing in college, and then now like just growing with it. And then everybody loves music. Like, you know, music, I really believe, puts people together. You can be sad, happy, I don't know, anything is going on, and there's a song for it. Like, there's literally a song for everything. Universal, the language at that. Like, you know, so it's just amazing. And then I'm just glad to be a part of it. And I tell Brandy Blaze, the Cake Swags, the Red Shades, I'm glad to be in y'all world because that's now, it's crossing over. It's not just DJing. Now I'm like DJing with artists. Yeah. And this is like their focus. Like, you know, that's their life. Like, that's like what they, you know, aspire to be. And that's what they are. That's fun to aspire. They are rappers and stuff. So I'm like, don't let me mess up anything. I'm just like, you know, just trying to be in y'all world. I'm just here. I tell them all the time, I'm just here.
Yeah, but you know what? You're there, and you went from DJing to studio production.
Right.
And now you're producing some of the best MCs in the region.
Crazy.
You have all these like major, well-known artists, most of whom we're spotlight artists on New England Mic Check Radio. And we
had to line them like the Avengers, y'all, for real. Like,
and we apologize.
Real talk.
We should have had you on a while back.
Yo,
You know?
look at it. I love
Brandy Blaze. Brandy Blaze is like Thanos, dude. One snap and that's it.
Yeah. But you made the move from DJing to doing production work, and now you're the go-to when it comes to a lot of these artists for beats. And you also work with other producers like Hum Beats.
Absolutely, yes. So that's like the beauty of music. I'm gonna be honest, so I don't make the beats. Like, I feel like I'm like the bridge in the gap. There's a lot of artists now coming to me like, I got this song in my head or I got this verse in my head and I can't get it. So we've been doing a lot of connecting, and I think there's just been like a lot of missing gaps. So in between like the producers, engineers, and DJs and artists all. So I'm like, we gotta make sure everybody's on the same page, especially, why wouldn't you want, like, the producer or the engineer pushing the track that they just helped, spent 5 weeks or whatever, on, than me with just the air. I'm like, there's like, I think I hear Brandy on this, or I think I hear Kate Watts on this, or somebody like that. So that's like my thing. So I don't want to cheat, but the beats are coming soon, but it's more of like a real like super duper collab, because right now Battle Axe, his name is Jelani, he's also an MC, he just sent me a beat and I just sent him back something chopped up, like, so I don't know how to make the beats, but like I know what I want it to sound like. Right. So I send him like crazy draft samples and be like, don't ever send this back out like my voice is like singing on it or something like that. So like that's just like being like full transparent. Like, I definitely don't make the beats, I just be like collab and like we just filling in the gaps with the beats and everybody on it.
Yeah, you're the bridge between you have a bunch of bridges over that river.
Yo, that's just crazy. Like to be able to actually be able to have that ear, like, okay, this definitely sounds like it was made for this person or this person, and to be able to put your 2 cents on what individual part or piece it all together, that's really cool.
Yeah,
and I wish I could do that.
And the fact that you're doing that with relationships.
Exactly. Right. How did you get with these people? Like, how did you get to know these DJs and all these artists?
Well, I kind of, after talking to you, I kind of get the picture, but go ahead, run.
Yeah, like musically, but like were you in like a cafe? Like you heard somebody over in the corner beating, like, okay, I dig this. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
That, like, y'all are so spot on in different ways, like in various ways, especially with the last part. I just feel like Brandy. I've seen, not even just Brandy, a lot of these artists I have seen at showcases. And then I'm like, okay, let me go listen to their music some more. People say, oh, I'm going to listen to their music. No, I'm literally like right then and there, download it in front of y'all. Like, and I don't even show the artist or anything like that. Some people gotta prove, like, I'm listening to this person. Let me tag them. I don't care if, like, you repost my tag or not. Like, I just, like, I mess with your stuff. Like, I rock with your stuff.
Right.
When it came to Brandy, I seen Brandy at Haley House. So I used to also do, like, what is it? Like, they had, like, the poetry nights and stuff like that. So I was, like, the DJ there. So Oompa hosted, like, a showcase, and Brandy was a part of that showcase. So I seen Brandy, and I still got that on Facebook to this day. And I was like, yep, check mark, yep, absolutely, I need to find her.
If you want it, you can get it. If you want it, you can get it.
She didn't know me from a whole little while, but I was like, yep. But then me and her always had, like, that distance, like, I see you, you see me. And then she made the initial, like, contact, like, hey, I need you as my DJ. And then she said it, asked me one time, said yes, that was it.
She told us the story when we had her back like 2 years ago on a Spotlight interview. And
so at least she ain't lying. Like, she was so serious. Like, it literally walked out, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, I want you to DJ for me. And I said, oh, I've been waiting. Like, good God, like, sis, say less. I'm like, lady, do you know, without being a creep, I got footage of you going off. Like, what? You know, you sound fire. Like,
I'm not a stalker or nothing. I'm not a stalker, but
no, for right. No, okay. How about, like, I'm so serious. I have to come off like that. Yep. Okay, so my sexuality, I am a lesbian, whatever, like that. But, like, regardless in this music industry, I don't care what it, like, I feel like I owe myself into other people because there's been so much crappy stuff that has happened that I have to say, like, no, I'm not being a creep. Like, I actually enjoy your work. Like, you know, like, you know, because no matter if you are a lesbian or a guy, like, whatever it is, like, there are actual people who are predators, you know, in the industry. Yeah. But I'm like, I want you to know, like, I always say, people get a joke out of this, and this could be whatever for whatever it means. I'm like, I went to all women's college, number one. Like, nothing fazed me at this point. So, like, you gotta be jumping on pogo sticks or something for me to be like, yeah, and that's just real. Like,
wow,
I
just pictured the whole thing.
I go so serious. Wow. Oh, I swear to God. And people are talking
boing,
big game,
boing.
but I'm so serious. And then people like Cake Swag. I see Cake Swag at a showcase, at like a Middle East showcase. And I said, sorry, hold on, let me take my dog got a rapper. How the hell she did that? I seen Cake Swag at a showcase, and I was like, yes, like I just like that's my first thing. I'm like, absolutely, like you are amazing.
Yeah.
And then we just kept in contact. I seen her at shows, and then she reached out to me about DJing for something. I reached out to her about a show, and then I made it the show was like, look it, let me know. Can I work with you? Like, can I just be your DJ like for a little bit? You can say no, you can say whatever. I'm like, I only want to work with like, you know, like I don't want to be that DJ working with like 5 people. Like I don't, whatever. I just wanted to work with Brainwaves and Cake Swag. That was my capacity. Like I work with everybody. How I'll say that. I'll DJ for everybody, but working, I'll say exclusively with. You could pay me to do that, but I'll say working exclusively with like on shows on the road. Is Bernie and Cake Swag. Cause I'm like, yo, they just like spark some type of crazy fire in my eyes. I'm like, yo, they are two different but two fire dope beings that I'm like, yeah. Let me like I just want to focus like right there.
So you took those skills and you kind of create their show
right
with the audio.
It depends on what it is. They have a lot of music. Like sometimes I get lucky and they let me come up with like the order of the show, right. And then half the time, the rest of the time, absolutely not. Like no shit, my bad.
Okay.
But
we
when
got
it
the layout,
comes, right. They're like, no, I had my own thing in mind, Sham. Like relax today. Relax. So I'm like, okay, y'all got that.
You're seriously a bridge for the community, and not just with music, the social justice trap movement. What's that about?
What is it about? Tell us everything that it entails. What are you in control of? How do you like help promo to social justice and get the word out there that everybody needs to hear?
So just to take it one step back, the social justice trap movement actually was called the Bringing Back Boston. I created Bringing Back Boston before Boston Got Next was even thought of. Bringing Back Boston addressed mental health, public health, trauma in a network full of creatives. So I was hosting pop-ups and events in the city where one of the events was called Bullying and Self-Esteem, where we got Teron Tibbs who made clothes. We got a youth, a high school student, and we were right in RCC. This is before Julia Mejia became city councilor. Like we had a lot of stuff going on. Rep Tyler had just became state rep, but we wanted to focus on bullying across the board with adults, youth, babies, because that happens. Like there's babies getting bullied, in preschool. There's adults getting bullied in college, and then it goes back to self-esteem. We go back into why is there fashion and why do I have a custom? Well, I brought Teron Tibbs on because this goes into mental health. We got people still getting made fun of because of whatever they're wearing. So I wanted him to talk about the effect that you don't even need to wear what everybody else is wearing. You can create your own lane for that. So Bringing Back Boston, which is now the social justice trap movement, is just a network where we just focus on mental health stuff that we put a creative spin on it. Like we're not going to be sitting there, we cry, that's fine, but it's not going to be so like a soaking moment. Like what's going to be when you leave here? What are you going to do after that? Right. What's the change that's going to happen? So it's more of a follow up. So right now I took a break from that because I'm like I have my own mental health stuff going on. So I'm like I don't be a part of stuff when we got. I feel like nobody should be running anything that they can't, if that makes sense. They got stuff going on their own self. And that's just real talk.
Yeah, make sure you're okay before you can help anybody else.
But
right, there we go. That's just real talk. And I never was the one to lead the events. I was just the one planning it. So even now, my face is just, I don't like my face in the forefront or anything, at all. So y'all saying, y'all would have had me on the show, y'all wish y'all knew before. I probably would have honestly turned down an interview back then because I'm like, this is all for the artist. I just wanted to be in the background. Where I'm now people trying to put a name, face, and stuff, and I'm like, God damn, I gotta show up. I gotta pop out.
You have to,
gotta make it
especially with, you want to separate certain stuff and just be low key, but then sometimes, you really just gotta be okay, actually, this is mine. Wait a minute.
Because I'm being nosy as I'm going through
No.
Right now. I'm looking at your Instagram. Is Michelle Wu, is she the mayor? Is she helping to push the social justice trap?
I would say, I don't want to say no and I don't want to say yes. I would say the city of Boston has been a great support of Boston Got Next entertainment. And that's just real talk. I've been booked, and that's just not even, so I say the city of Boston because I've been vendor for the city for the past like 5 years.
Okay.
And that comes in terms of just like being booked as a DJ. Y'all too, like if everybody in the city who is an artist should be registering as a vendor. When they need their stuff happening, we should be the go-to for whatever it is. Like, you know, I don't care if you're a chef. I don't care if you're I don't know, the best cleaner.
Right.
We should be the people who live in the city of Boston. The immediate city of Boston should be the go-to.
Boston Black Pages.
Right. There we go. Look, I was going to just be about, hey. So when it comes to, I'll say like the mayor, like this past summer, like I was with DJing for Kim Janey, like the coffee hours, like the city hall had booked Boston Got Next to provide like the entertainment for the coffee hours. Otherwise, when it comes to the mayors, the state reps and stuff like that, I'm not taking a picture with any of them unless we had a conversation about the arts in Boston. Okay. So, so I had a conversation with her about the arts in Boston. So I'll say she's in support of the arts.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Good. I love that.
See, you're getting out there. It's so easy, and it seems like, you know, you're just going with the flow, and it's all coming to you. And
I wouldn't say it's easy. I think she make it sound easy.
But she's putting herself in position where it's all just coming right to her.
This is true.
And she's bridging it.
It's fluid. Like the way it came together, I'm still in shock. Like, wow.
You're doing big things.
I didn't even want to be a DJ. And now I'm the number one freaking contact. Like,
Wow. You probably got a wedding to do this weekend, huh?
Seriously.
I sure do on Sunday.
Stop it right now.
I definitely do from 3 to 8:45 p.m. of a wedding. You are not lying. That is crazy. I had a whole Zoom with the wedding party yesterday, and I have a rehearsal on Friday at 5.
Wow.
Wow, we need to go crash it.
Seriously.
Look at, hey, come through.
She's like,
look, I don't be having nobody behind me. There's like a whole little clip now. Like, but I don't be having no party, nobody. So y'all can come through. Y'all got food. I probably wouldn't eat anyway.
You're an on-air DJ at Spark FM. Tell us about that.
Yes, shout out to Hot Sauce Danielle Johnson. I love, like, honestly, all the media here, like everybody, but like I would say I'll be biased, like Spark FM. That's like home team, because I was chilling, honestly. Like, I was just in the random in the world. Like, what else can I do?
Like, here it comes.
So for real, it's like, okay, what else? Like, what's next? And then this is like where I had started, like I said, in college. Like, I started on the radio, like, you know, the little college radio and stuff like that. But here it's like meaningful. Here it's like, it's black owned, and there's a woman. I went to a homeless college, so I'm definitely like, that's like a champion of women just like, you know, taking ownership. And she has been teaching me a lot though too. Like, let me give credit to her, because it's just like how to run a business.
Go ahead, give her a shout out. Give her a shout out.
You know, shout out to Danielle Hot Sauce, like the boss, for seriously creating a platform just like for everybody, and in terms of just like the layout. Like, Spark FM was like a Kickstarter, started as a Kickstarter, and single, like, grassroots. I love grassroots stuff, because that means like the community wants this, they want it. Right. Like, you know, like that just eats me alive. Like, I love it. So when it comes to her, I didn't know, like, you know, certain stuff of just like the business of like how to keep revenue coming in my own. So it's not like another woman like, hey, well, I'm only gonna think about myself. And like, no, she's like, well, this is how you can help Boston Got Next Entertainment. This is how we can also help each other together. Right. So I'm just like the utmost respect for that lady. That lady for Hot Sauce.
Tell us about the show and the content.
So my show is called Lunch is Over. At first it started out with me and my homies. Like, we were just talking about, like, you know, they want to talk about sports and I want to talk about politics. So now it just becomes like intergenerational show of what's happening, I'll say, in the world, where it's just, we're not just taking everything serious. And we're focusing on artists, and artists get mad at me. I was like, I don't know about y'all, but they get mad at me. They're like, you don't play music and stuff like that, like, all the time. And I'm like, well, I think they're, for my personal, but for mine, like, I wanted to just do playlists where I'm not directly DJing, at least for an hour. And then, like, I wanted to do, like, you know, y'all have the interview with me. I was like, some people need to get to know the artist. Okay, putting out all this music, but who knows the artist? Like, why did you make this? Like, or even producers. I wanted to focus on producers a little bit, because it's like, well, again, I go back to, they're the ones making all the beats, and the engineers are just putting in hours in the song, and then they just get tossed to the side. And that's just like, you know, me just like looking at all the roles that everybody play. So I'm like, how can we do this in a fun way? And my show is crack. in the middle of the afternoon, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. So I titled it Lunch is Over because I'm like, everybody's eating lunch or they're about to finish lunch or it's supposed to be finishing lunch and we still like nipping on the side.
Yeah.
But
so it's a talk and music show.
Right.
Okay. Well, give it a plug. Give it a plug real quick.
Make sure y'all check out Lunch is Over Tuesdays and Thursdays on Spark FM online, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern. You dig?
Hey.
Clearly, I'm having that
now, so all right. So go ahead, T. You might as well ask her.
Oh yes, I gotta be nosy because I'm nosy.
Yes.
All up in your
Ready.
business. So, all right. Are you single? Are you taken? Are you married to the music? How's your personal life?
Woo!
I know that was a loaded ass question.
I'll definitely say married to the music. That's like the only thing right now. I feel like that's been the consistent and the most blessing in my life that I've had in a long time.
All right.
And it doesn't disappoint me. Like only I can disappoint it. So that sounds jacked up, but like the music don't disappoint me.
All right.
Ever.
So you're free to DM.
Absolutely. Shoot your shot.
Okay, because I usually put a disclaimer at the end, like, okay, if they focus or they taking, you make sure you stay out their damn DMs. Lady T said so. But now,
nah, shoot your shot. Hell yeah! It's Valentine's Day season. I'm gonna take you out if you just met. But
I'll invite you to a show. Maybe we have a drink later.
No, for real. I got you on a drink. You know.
Hey.
DJ WhySham.
DJ WhySham.
Wow, this went by so fast. But
it really did.
But,
I want to talk some more.
I got till 5. I got class, but I got you.
well, real quick then, tell everybody where they can go to hear more of your music and learn more about you.
My music is everywhere. I'll say our music is everywhere. I am working with everybody in the city of Boston right now at this point. So Spotify, Apple, Google, Pandora, iHeartRadio, you name it. And everything is also on Boston Got Next. In the next month, all of my music will be on the website. So you can just go to get it and download it and make sure y'all donate. Like, I know this is supposed to be quick and sweet, but I know for a fact, like, streams ain't getting no money. So it ain't that, like, I'm not focused on that. I just want y'all to hear the music. I believe music is long, everlasting, and that's what my music is. So make sure y'all go rock out with it.
And we run it every weekend on the Weekend Takeover. Absolutely. And we're about to run another one right now. Before we even do that, I really got to thank you and commend you for everything that you're doing for the culture and the community. And
I appreciate y'all. Don't say that. Look, I'm gonna stop it right there. I know I shouldn't be doing that, but look, thank you all too as well. We are all of this together, so I appreciate you all for even having me and for having all the artists and for focusing. Like, a lot of people don't do that. Y'all focus on everybody as well, so I respect it 110 toes down, whatever that saying is. But sorry.
Felt that one right here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
And make sure y'all follow on Instagram, Just DJ WhySham.
Yep. Look here, I don't got my air horns with me. But
I got one for you right now.
Oh, don't you dare. Not in the studio. Not in the studio.
All right, WhySham. All right, so right now, it's the time of the interview where we need you to go ahead and introduce your song.
This is DJ WhySham, and up next is my song, Steppers, featuring Cake Swag Body Bag, right here on New England Mic Check.